tell you, that intro never gets too old for me.
Yo, it's good.
It's a good intro,
that.
man. Impressive.
It's freaking hype.
I just love that intro with the music and all that. Well, shit, guys, everybody, welcome today. This is a special show for me because everybody knows the title. You know, the new young guns of the Bigfoot community. Some of you out there are like, what the fuck are you talking about, Eric? What do you mean? Oh, shit. Sorry about that. The wife. Why is she calling me during the show? That's not cool. I have to yell at her after the show. No, I'm joking. You know, the new young guns. What does that mean? What are we talking about? What I'm talking about is it's encouraging to know. You know, I'm older in age. I'm not going to lie. You know, myself and a lot of people were older in age. To know we got people like Connor, you know, SquatchinSouthFlorida, Tyler Howe, you know, continuing to research, not just Bigfoot's, paranormal, UFOs even, you know, mermaids. It doesn't matter. You know, these people are researching. And why it's important to encourage them to research is anybody can research, right? Anybody can open up a YouTube channel, anything on social media and talk about all of this. But there's people who do it for money. There's people who do it just to do it. I don't know what I mean. Like, they don't care. But when you look at Connor, when he goes on shows and stuff, you could feel and sense his energy that listen, we all want to make money. If we can make money doing this full time, yeah, go for it. But you got to have passion. You got to have love. And the first time I remember having Connor on my channel, I was like, huh, who is this guy? You know, he's written books. He's young. He got books. I mean, writing books, it takes time out of your life to, you know, put things on paper. I mean, that takes effort and energy. And first I got Connor on, you know, I'm a good judge of character. I look at people's eyes. I look how they act. I'm like, this fucking guy is no joke. This guy really loves what he does. And it's not about the money. If you don't make $1, he would still fucking do it. I watched Connor go on different shows. I mean, sharing his information. And that's the kind of stuff that everybody should encourage. You know, if you look at my analytics, you know, I study numbers. No offense. Most people watch my show probably within 10 years of my age, right? To get the future moved on, you got to encourage young people because young people, on average, follow young people versus following older people. That's just a fact. I mean, that's just numbers. And then last week, South Florida was on Mongolian Monsters channel. And I was just so impressed. Like, that was his first show on social media. He was confident. He was telling his story. I'm like, this fucking guy is fucking awesome. Like, I'm going to put a show together with all the young ones. And Connor saying, dude, you got to get Tyler Howe. This guy is the real deal, too. He loves studying. And so I got 3 young guns who are just going to take the torch and continue, and they're doing it because of passion. If they can make money out of it, fantastic. But I know it starts because of this. So, am I full of shit, Connor? What do you think?
No, 100%. I cherish our first episode and linking up with you and Dr. Wu, and it's been such just a legendary time ever since that, man. And I remember kind of screaming at your viewers because they were kind of asking me, I don't know, just simple questions about how Bigfoot existing. And I'm like, there is missing people. There is mothers going to therapy. There's thousands of years of encounters on record. And I was getting really not worked up in a bad way, but it really brought some extra passion out of me. And I love that you have a nice platform that we could speak open-minded and draw these connections in the sand, you know, because that's the only way we're going to get closer to the end goal. And then the allowance of you bringing open-minded people, and then Matt and Tyler, and then just the combination of all the other great minds that you've brought into my life and into everybody else's life. It's a special place. And I really think it's all meant for a reason.
So Scotch in Florida, what made you finally like, hey, I'm going to go on Mongolian Monsters channel. I want to start telling people what I believe in. What made you start to do that now?
I mean, I guess it's a good question, man. Connor just kind of like sent me the link, and I was like, you know what, let's just do this. I just took the chance, you know. Most things in life, man, like the good stuff is hard, and you got to take chances. You got to just be honest and be yourself. For the last, I want to say, decade or so, I've more or less been blocking all this stuff. I've been trying to block this stuff out of my life to have what I thought was better life quality. And I went and had that experience in Myakka, and I was like, no more, man. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I'm supposed to be involved in, and I'm not fighting the grain of the wheel no more. And so when Connor asked me if I wanted to go on there, I was like, sure. I mean, he's also he sends me shows to hop on all the time, man. And I'm just like, man, I don't got the time. Dude, I got 3 kids. I got a full-time job, and sometimes I just can't make it. But I
You're like me. I got 3 kids. You and I.
I have 1 kid.
Yeah. So Tyler, man, first time I get to meet you. So tell us about you. What are you into? A certain community? Are you into different kind of research, or what's your background in researching, like paranormal, Bigfoots, or you just concentrate on one versus the other?
I mean, it was all really pretty much Bigfoot for me for years, from my childhood. And then as I've gotten older, people started, experiencing different things like dogmen and stuff. So it's like, who am I to say they're full of shit? Like their experiences were just as real as mine. And so I started, looking into that a little bit more, then met Connor, when we were down in the Myakka. He just blew my damn mind on knowledge, dude. Like, that man right there knows a lot of stuff. And
absolutely.
He has been sending me all kinds of stuff, man. What that guy, what's his name, Vic, for the Dogman show?
Yeah, Vic Cundiff. I actually had a show with him right after this.
Yeah, so I did a show with him, and then he got back with me like 2 days later, and he was like, there was some bad interference on my end, so we have to redo it. Which I was like, that's no big deal. It's an honor, just to be on that dude's show, and the fact that I can do it again, I can actually go back over what I said, and make it a little bit better on my end. So, but that's pretty.
That's what's nice about their shows. They invite people to come on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's very cool.
Like Matt said, Connor's been sending both of us links, to help us, get out, in that community, and it's been paying off. He's the man.
Hey, that's what it is. You share. You share
Yes,
friends. You share.
Yep.
Good people. It's not like Connor's just gonna send a bunch of jackasses. When Connor sends invites, tell, hey, jump on. That means he trusts what you're doing. He believes in you. But now, before the show starts, you guys were talking about some kind of investigation in the paranormal. I'm like, hey, hold on. You got to save it for the show. So, what's this investigation of this paranormal? Did I hear haunted house or something?
Oh, you talking about the Tatum house? Yeah.
Well, the one I was talking about before the show was last night, but I think we should all talk about the Tatum house first and foremost. Because all 3 of us were together in Myakka for Stacy Brown's skunk ape expedition. And Myakka is super well known for the skunk ape because there was 2 anonymous pictures sent to the Sarasota Police Department, and it is incredible. If you just Google skunk ape photos, Erica showed it on plenty of shows in the past, and it looks a little bit different than Patty, say, from Bluff Creek, the actual Sasquatch. This is a skunk ape. This has shark fangs, and David Shealy down there at the skunk ape headquarters where Matt was just at, he'll tell you all about it here soon. He got a private tour from the guy himself, but he has prints and casts that have 4 claws and 4 toes. So it's really weird that it is a little bit different from the traditional 5-toed creature. So yes, it is a little bit different. In 1994, one was shot dead. A couple decades ago, one was hit by a car and it's been seen limping. There's been hundreds of encounters in the area. Brian Laundrie, I think, is still probably missing in the area. So the place is just sacred. And then add in that there was 4 Native American mounds on the grounds, and then multiple haunted houses. But I'll let these 2 guys talk about their evidence that they got at the Tatum house, because you guys saw it in my documentary. I was, jumping barricades and filming the Goat Man, but these 2 guys got some crazy audio and had some electrical interference just in the house. And then, let alone once we were outside, we had some skunk ape encounters as well.
Yeah, it was a good time. Hey, tell them about the audio that you got.
Well, I don't want to ruin the audio for anybody. I definitely think that if you're watching right now, go follow my channel and watch that and listen to it for yourself, because it's a little rough right now. I actually just got a new computer and I'm going to be remastering it all and bumping those audio levels up and some of the background noise down. But like, to give you kind of like the premise of what happened, we had another researcher there with us. Her name was Tiffany. And we put her in what was called the devil's chair. And it was this crazy rocking chair. The story behind the rocking chair is that it just suddenly appeared at the house one day in the museum. No one knows how it got there. It was just like anonymously donated. And bro, when I tell you, like, if you're talking about like the creepiest rocking chair on the face of the planet, this is it. It literally has like a devil or Satan's face carved into the back of the rocking chair, and it has like a pentagram on it.
Detail, man. Like, it is.
And yes, like someone took the time to make it. And so we put Tiffany in that chair. Oh, what happened? Am I still on?
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
This is your
Yeah, you're
channel.
on.
This is your channel. And you're
Yeah.
saying, is this one right here? The crazy
when it
audio
says
capture from camp?
No. It's the second one with the logo that says Tatum.
That was not. I had my dream.
But
And just to set aside, Matt's logo is killer. I see it blowing up just for that.
So
Yeah.
So you got the logo one, and you got the one with the picture of the audio. So
yeah. Well, I hadn't finished my logo yet, because I do everything myself. All those graphics were made all by me. So
if I play this, is there a certain timestamp that?
There should be timestamps in the description. The first one is a little hard to hear because you got people talking over it, but there should be timestamps in the description on there.
Oh, your timestamps are gone.
What?
Yeah, your timestamps are gone.
Oh, well, that sucks. Hold on. I could actually have them on my phone if you give me a second.
Well, what I'll do is I'm going to put.
I'm sure it's going to be hard to hear regardless. So we should talk about it.
I'll just put a link to your channel, and then people could go there and they could like blast it really loud so they can hear it. That sounds interesting. That sounds
for sure. We were experiencing a bunch of strange stuff in that house. I was just taking orb pictures, and I think inside my orb actually looks like a goat man face. And then Tyler was filming in there, and then he was having electrical interference. His camera was dying on full battery.
I'm not sure what happened there. I totally messed up. I'm sorry.
It's my bad. Nona Boss told me I had the wrong video. It's this other video. That's the one that you had the timestamps on.
Yeah, some of that stuff that you were talking about, I still have to go through it and get it all. Stacy asked me if I could get it all to him, and I was like, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff I got to go through. But yeah, I was filming on my phone, and this was before she was in the chair. Stacy broke out the spirit box, and he had all the meters going. And I had a full battery on my Nikon camera, and I was filming, and it just died. Battery exhausted. I'm like, bro, that's a full battery. I wasn't even filming for 4 minutes. Just Dunskies. I was like, well, there goes that battery. So I'd use my phone the rest of the night. But as we were doing that, there was the chair behind me
there we go.
rocking by itself. And I think, who was it that pointed it out and told me the chair was rocking behind me?
It was my mom.
It was your mom. Okay, I thought so. And I turned around with my own, my light, and it's rocking. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Yeah, the meter started going, and Stacy was like, are you filming all this? I was like, yeah, I'm filming.
So anyway, sorry about the technical difficulties. I accidentally clicked out of it and was all messed up.
No problem.
No worries.
But so the so she's maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet away from me, facing like the corner in this rocking chair. and I'm standing next to her. I have my lavalier pointed that way, and I'm just sitting there holding my my audio recorder. The door next to us is shut. All the windows are shut. I want to say that the front door was shut too that we walked in. But yeah, check out that audio and listen to it for yourself, because we picked up some stuff that blew my mind. I was not expecting that at all. I don't normally mess with the paranormal. I remember you had asked me about that on Moog's channel, and I don't normally mess with the paranormal. My mom had said that she wanted to go do it, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll go do it, because for more or less, like, all this is a spiritual journey for me, and that's one of the reasons why I've just kind of just started diving right into it head first, because I realized how spiritually dead I was before I had all this stuff happen to me, and it makes my soul feel good to do it.
I think it's important to recognize the paranormal. Because if you're hunting for Bigfoot, say you're out in the forest and stuff, and you're hearing noises, you're hearing rocks are getting thrown, you have to think of the possibility that it might not be a Bigfoot or something throwing that at you. It could be something paranormal. So
it's quite possible.
That's why you want to be open to all ideas and not close yourself into just one thought process. I'm not saying everything thrown at you is going to be paranormal, but
Well,
I've had my fair share.
Where I go around here, I have a lot of things happen. The tree knot that you were talking about, I've heard out there in the middle of the night, sounds like someone's out there clapping their hands together. Well, I was out there stomping around not too long ago, and there's a damn cemetery out there called Carr Cemetery. So I'm trying to go out there and see if I can get any kind of spiritual or encounters or happenings out there. So that's where I need you two to come down and listen, especially with your equipment.
Yeah. Hey man, we'll make it happen.
So I got that FLIR now, man. That FLIR works pretty good.
That's awesome.
We'll tell the people, guys, about you guys' escape encounters.
Man.
Hey,
Tyler, you had an encounter when you were a kid, and it's breathtaking.
Okay, yeah.
But I want to ask you guys this for a second.
Yeah,
Tyler, were you also with them on the Stacy Brown research? On that?
Yeah, that's how I met these. That's how I met these two.
Now, let me ask you: is this something that I'm trying to understand the thing you guys went on? Is this something that Stacy Brown? I mean, he's been on my channel. Me and Connor interview him. Stacy Brown is a fucking awesome guy. He's a fucking awesome guy. Is this something that he does on his ranch from time to time? Does he do tours for people or something? How does this thing work on Stacy Brown's ranch?
A ranch. No, it wasn't a ranch that we went to. It was like this crowded nature museum and science center, and they let us camp out over there. And they just happen to have that Tatum house on their property.
Is this something that they do?
Gypsy, to answer your question, Stacy does do private tours. He does do private tours and takes people out. But he is in the process of starting something that's a little bit more of like a kind of like a tour you can purchase, all inclusive type of thing that he's working on. Hopefully sometime soon I'll have more details for everybody on that, but I don't want to say nothing without anything being finalized or anything like that. But there is a project being worked on to hopefully provide that type of experience on a regular basis.
Because when I saw that video that Connor showed on his channel over the weekend, I'm sitting there watching it like, this is fucking awesome. I mean, this is giving everybody an experience, a chance to, I'm not saying you're going to find something right out, but it gives you a chance to learn the research and hearing people's stories, meeting people. I mean, it's almost like it's like a Comic-Con that I'm going this weekend, like to a camp spot with lesser people, and everybody has a chance. I saw older people, younger people, women, men. I mean, I saw all sexes there. I mean, it was like, that is fucking awesome. I was curious, is this like on a normal basis? And if he's working on that, that is needed.
So one of the things that really got me about the whole thing, to share a little bit about myself. My younger years, I went down a tough path, a real tough path, and not to get too much into it, but one of the things that saved me was AA. And like when I went to this Myakka expedition, it felt like I was living that again. Like the camaraderie, the fellowshipping part of it was just so amazing. Everybody was like-minded. Nobody judged anybody. It was a completely free and open space. Didn't matter what walk of life you came from. And just that aspect alone made the experience unbelievable for me. And then to have stuff on top of it, it was like, wow.
That's why it's needed, because that could be the inspiration for somebody to go something for the first time and like, oh my God, I love this. I love the people. I love the research. I love the community, and they grow from it. And you'd be surprised, like little seeds, and everybody just grows. Kind of like Connor meets you, Connor meets him, Connor meets this person, that person, and brings everybody together. It's like just growing this beautiful, huge community with great people.
Absolutely. It's amazing. It really is. It really changed my life on a ton of different levels. A ton. For the most part, I was kind of like a silent observer of the subject matter. Like I was always interested in it, always watched it. Like watched stuff on TV, paranormal, like Josh Gates, like ghost hunters, like all those types of things. I've had my fair share of encounters growing up throughout my life with the paranormal. Even had my own possible sighting when I was a kid. But like, I always felt like that was something I had to keep hidden away deep inside myself that I couldn't really talk to nobody about because I would be judged. And holding that inside of me is what almost killed me.
Yeah.
That's what almost killed me. And, here I am today. And like, and sure enough, like I went through recovery and like, sure, I became a functioning member of society again, but I still was missing that part because I never shared that part of myself. And being able to be with those people and to share stories and to lift it, like one thing that I always like to say is pain shared is pain lessened. And like, whoa, like how much better I felt like after telling these guys some of the things that I've been through, some of the things that I've seen, and just my life, and then having these experiences and being like, holy shit, I'm not fucking crazy because everybody else just had it too.
I'll tell you what, if anybody watched our episode last week with Jeff Harding, when is it time to speak about Bigfoot? We talked about that. When is it time? When do you take that next step? Because we know you're going to get laughed at, you're going to be made fun of, but when you find the right people, when you start talking about your experiences, it helps you. It's like a medicine. It's like better than paying $1,000 to some therapist doctor who wants to sit you on a fucking couch and make you just cry. Talking with friends and feeling comfortable. Everybody's recognizing you. I mean, that's where it is. And seeing like you. So I'm talking about the young guns. Like you learn a life experience right there. What you're just talking about. You made yourself feel better. And I'm hoping that somebody's watching this and like, you know what? He's fucking right. I need to
hope so too, man.
Talk about my experience because by holding it in, you created a PTSD. Anybody in the military tell you that's PTSD. Talking about it with your friends is the key that helps you better yourself and grow. Listen, I was in a rut before I was doing these channels. You go to fucking work every day, you pay your fucking bill, your electricity, put food on the table. Life itself is so fucking boring. It's so hard. I like being married. I have kids. It's great. But when you start opening up, doing the show, talking about your experiences and all that, there's just a satisfaction that makes you. I told Connor this. Every time I do a show on Wednesday, I go to work happier. I just feel better. It's true.
Yeah, 100%. This is spiritual therapy right here.
It is a therapy, and I don't care if somebody wants to come on here and talk about mermaids or anything like that. One thing I love about Connor is Connor's open to anything. That's why I was attracted to Connor. Like, he might have Bigfoot Anon in his title, so you're thinking, this guy's just mostly Bigfoot. Fuck no.
I'm not that open.
Yeah, so when we were down in the Myakka, it was in that part of the where we were close to camping where RPG, did that impressive how he was looking in a stump. And I'm like, bro, what are you looking for? He's like, fairies? I'm like, shut the fuck up. He's like, for real? Fairies are real? I'm like, damn, I didn't know that. So now I'm like, I've been looking and did all that on the internet. And it's just the stories go back just like, Sasquatch and Dogman, it's crazy.
Yep.
I agree, Tyler. I mean, it's kind of funny, right? If you could believe in a Bigfoot, why can't you believe that something else can be real or not?
Exactly.
I mean, a fairy.
Absolutely.
Finding a fairy is just as hard as finding a Bigfoot. I mean, if one could exist, doesn't mean this can exist. It can exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like nobody knows what's fully on this fucking
I just think
planet.
it's
And nobody
important.
knows what's actually in the ocean, the deepest part of the ocean. There's parts of the ocean that we can't get to. We don't know what's on this planet. There's parts of the forest that we can't even get into yet.
Yeah, there's still
know
parts
what's
of
out there,
North America
man.
that's been untouched by mankind.
And Long Island Bigfoot says Connor needs to run for president 2024.
Supreme Overlord.
I just think it's important, guys, to share your truths because that just can open doors for other people. And just to know you're not alone out there is so empowering. So that's why I'm pretty open-minded and open sharing with it because some people think I'm trying to jam it down their throat. I'm just trying to let people know I'm there with them and trying to open doors for people because this world is so full of possibilities that can blow your mind every single day, and all of it connects because coincidence is the only thing to never exist. So yes, the Atlanteans are matched with the Mayans, and that links with the ancient Sumerians, and they all talked about the ancient hairy man and the mound builders and the giants and the titans and the leviathans. So if you go the church route, if you like the science route, if you like the urban legend route, it all correlates to something, and it all really connects to our soul that really can't be contained. So I think it's important to just have these conversations. And, like Matt said, you have to take that hard jump sometimes and be uncomfortable and vulnerable for beautiful things to sprout. So it's amazing when you can step out of your comfort zone and look stupid sometimes and look dumb and look clueless. But sometimes, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, enough times you're getting somewhere. And I think that's important.
Yep.
Yep.
You gotta have thick skin. I mean, people are gonna, especially on YouTube, Reddit and stuff, they're gonna slam you. There's people, that's all they do is slam. It's like the old days. Back in my day, it used to be phone calls. People used to call and yell at you on phones. Now with the keyboard, anybody can say anything they want and not be shown. So you gotta have thick skin and don't let that bother you and keep going. So are you guys ever so you guys basically live in the same kind of area in Florida, correct? All three of you?
They live closer than I do.
They
They live
live
closer.
We actually represent all 3 different types of Florida.
Yeah,
Florida's a
the
big
same
ass
thing just
fucking
got
state.
gambled.
Yeah, I'm all the way in the south, and Tyler, you're like mid central north, and then you're all the way in like Pensacola area, right, Connor?
No, vice versa.
Oh, vice versa. Okay.
Me and Tyler are switched.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I'm about 40 minutes east of Pensacola.
Oh, actually, what's funny? I have something to kind of talk. You remember how we were talking that night? We were talking about Eglin Air Force Base.
Yeah.
So I actually recently got in touch with a ex-Navy officer who confirmed your reports of UFOs being out there by Eglin Air Force Base.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. He was in the Navy for, I think he said he did 4 or 6 years. But, Yep, and he also confirmed to me that
that's UFO Central. Golf Breeze.
That they're doing biological experiments over there at Eglin.
I believe it.
Yep. When he told, and it was all unprompted because it was funny how the conversation ended up about. But he kind of just was just like forthcoming about it. He heard what I was doing, and he just started talking to me about it. And I was like, oh crap, like, are you for real right now? He's like, yeah, man, yeah, we see it all the time out there. We weren't allowed to say nothing about it until they released that freaking video from the government, from the the Air Force ones that they did.
Yep.
They all had to be on the hush hush about it for all these years until then.
Yeah, there's a big radar site for the Space Force out here on Eglin.
Yep. And another person who was also in the Navy back in the late 1960s. He was over in the Mediterranean. That was his first UFO encounter, was out there on the Mediterranean Sea. And then several years later, he had another encounter, him and his wife, out in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
And another veteran we know talked about UFO sightings from the early 60s.
Yep, that's what I just said. Yep. So, like, one of the things I want to put out there is that, hey, maybe the government actually does know more about this stuff than we think they do, or that they let on. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, I mean, there are stuff that they know that they will never tell us. I mean, that's not an X-file. That's just a fact.
That's a fact.
That's just a fact. There are certain now some information I could probably understand that the regular people on this planet wouldn't even be able to accept. They you know what I mean? I mean, there's just so many things that, like, you guys are open-minded. The government came out and said, this is a real picture of a UFO. We can accept that. We can get it. But most people say it's phony. So there's things that they can say. There's things that they can't. I can understand that. But there's things that they're not telling us. And the question is, should they? Could they? Are we ready for it?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because everyone's been coming out about UFOs and stuff. The whole Sasquatch, skunk ape, there's all names for it. Think about the logging industry. That's a $1 trillion industry every year. And if the government was to come out about these things, there goes your logging industry. Gone. All those woods are going to be for endangered species. You know what I mean? Like, so dude, I don't know, man.
There's a lot.
They know more than what they say, because I've heard some crazy stuff, dude. Stuff that I wouldn't want to talk unless it's like behind a closed door.
No, you're right. It's all about the economy. Keep the engine running. For the money system, and they don't want to put a wrench in that, because you could collapse countries and stuff. So there's things that they're never going to want us to know, because they don't want to throw a wrench into the machine. Governments are all machines. It's all machines. It's all about the dollar. And like you said, forest, buildings, everything's built from the forest, trees and stuff, and they can't have that shut down.
Nope, they can't. And
and don't get me wrong. Listen, there's a lot of dumbass conspiracies out there. Where we also at the same time, we give the government too much credit, thinking they are the mastermind of every single thing out there. Remember, a lot of people who are in office, they're fucking idiots. And the only reason they got there is because of money, campaign. They're not smart enough to hold certain kind of secrets and stuff. So I don't want to also give the government too much credit, because too many channels give the government way too much credit. World, they're the world. They're going to change everything. They're going to do this and this and this. Listen, no, they can't do all that. They're hiding stuff, yes, but that's not giving them too much power that they don't have. There's a bunch of idiots who are working in there in the first place.
I mean, the pocket's fat. That's all.
Until Connor and I
100%.
become president and vice president, and then we'll run it the right way.
That's right. It's like the outdoor industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry a year. Government comes out and says there's an 8-foot-tall hairy man, Chewy's third cousin, running around in those woods. Families are going to stop going camping.
Yes.
That's, and it's going to be detrimental to the national parks, because the BLM. They get all the Bureau of Land Management.
Where the money comes from.
Yeah, exactly. So you take all that away. It's. I mean, they got to do. Obviously, they're going to do what's best for their country, and they don't want the economy to fall. But there comes a line, because it's people get hurt, just like, the David Paulides books, Missing 411. So I have a buddy of mine who is an ex-Navy guy. I'm not going to say what he did, but one of his buddies' cousins was one of the cases in the Missing 411 up in British Columbia. And we're actually going to go check it out here in a few months.
Yeah, the Missing 411, that is
Nice.
such a freaking research study that there's something there. There's something to it.
People don't just disappear,
Not just
man.
here in the United States and America. A lot of countries have their own Missing 411. Connor and I interviewed a guy from Japan, and there's a lot of missing people out there that he was doing his own maps, finding out that the Missing 411s on Japan was actually in the areas of all the sightings are. So there's so much there to uncover. And of course, the government's not going to tell us. It's going to take people like yourself, the young guns, the blue collars, searchers, to try to find the truth for us. And of course, once you do find the truth, that's when government's trying to jump in, trying to make it like, Tyler, how? That guy's fucking crazy. He came from the nut house. Even though you know you're true. But you got to be brave. You just got to come out and give it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got to be willing to take the chance for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen.
So speaking of young guns, you guys both had childhood encounters. You care to share, with the people and what got you into this?
You were cutting out, bro. I can't hear you.
So Tyler, was there one thing in your life that came out and said, hey, I want to research more? Was there something that made you want to come out and research? I mean, what was that one thing?
So it pretty much started when I was 13 years old. So I'm a diehard turkey hunter and deer hunter. I've hunted religiously my entire life with my dad.
That's my family. Yep.
We used to be in a hunting club up in Union Springs, Alabama, middle of nowhere in southeast Alabama. And I was just, sitting in my tree stand, and it was getting dark. And my dad, I'm going to try to shorten this story up, but my dad told me that pretty much there was something coming down the creek. And at this point in time, it was dark, and he told me not to get out of my tree. Well, I heard something coming down the creek. I could hear water being displaced, and I heard something come out and get into the leaves, because I was sitting in some planted pines that were on a ridge, and down the hill was a creek, and it was just some big old hickory leaves and oak leaves, like as big as your hand. You could hear a deer coming from a mile away, and I could hear something crunching, and then it stopped. Well, it sounded like rain started, but I was like, it's not raining, and so maybe I was thinking water dripping off of it hitting the leaves. Well, it was like it made a beeline to my tree, just crunch, 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 hauling ass. And then it stopped. And I counted about 3 or 4 pine trees down. At this point in time, the moon's coming up in front of me, and I could see shoulders sticking out on each end of this tree, and I could see breath. Creeped me out. Felt like 5 minutes, but it was probably 30 seconds. Then it left. I get down out of the tree, walking down the road, and I could hear something coming back out of that creek, catty cornering me, like it was covering a lot of real estate in a hurry. And then when I got to the edge of the planted pines to the sage grass field, and when I stepped out of those woods, something pretty much screamed, yelled, hollered, whatever you want to call it. And it was so loud, like you're at a concert. You feel your clothes vibrate, That's what it was like. It was insane, man. That's what started it for me.
What about you, SquatchinSouthFlorida? What was your main thing?
I was about 9-10 years old, and across the street from my grandmother's house was kind of like a preserve almost. And when we were kids, we used to go across the street and we would play in that mangrove marsh, and we would dig up crabs and stuff underneath, out from underneath the dirt. And I was there one day, and doing just that. Just, huh?
No, I'm being dumb.
Oh, no worries. I'm just digging for crabs, and the next thing I know, and when you're when I'm describing this place, like, so I walked in and it's just a trail that's going through, and there's about like 20 yards of mangroves to like my left, and like some brush to my right, and then on the other side of the brush to my right is the street, and then to my left there's a lake, and then behind the lake is nothing but just mangrove swamp. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just digging and playing whatever, and I hear something step up onto the trail, and I turned and I looked up, and there was just this tall, black, hairy looking figure. And I mean, at the time, look, I'm right now maybe like 5'7", 5'8". All right, I was super short back then. It could have been anything, you know. But I looked at it and I kind of just froze. And then it was looking to the left first. And when it turned its head to the right and looked at me, was when I fucking bolted. And that was the first experience that I ever had.
Damn.
Yeah.
I could have been 9 or 10. I was 13, bro. I played football, and I was crying, man. Tears running down my face, and I was trying to be quiet.
I ran home. I ran home crying, and that was it, man. I didn't tell nobody what was going on. Nope. I was so scared, and after that, I quit playing over there.
Yeah,
I believe.
And I know you probably wanted to say something, but you know, like normal person, you're afraid someone's gonna look at you like you're crazy. You're a kid. You don't know what you saw.
Well, the funny thing is that like I always chalked it up to being a monkey, that it was just a big monkey. The reason being is because where we were down in 1992 after Hurricane Andrew, there was a zoo around there somewhere that had got decimated by the hurricane, and allegedly in the area there was a bunch of escaped primates. So the only thing that I can say that was different was that this did not have a tail. Now, we used to see monkeys hanging off the power lines in the alley behind the house all the time. They had tails. This did not have a tail. It was standing upright. It was not like, you know, knuckling on the ground. It was upright, and I just thought, I don't know, man, maybe it was just a fucking chimp just stepped out, and I was like, oh crap, you know, and that's why I always just chalked it up to in memory. And anybody that I spoke to, they're like, oh, it was probably just one of the monkeys that were in the area. So that's what I always chalked it up to.
Yeah.
So
you do got to take all possibilities, but yeah. But I'm glad you investigated it. You kind of put it. Is it Curious George? I can't remember. Does he supposed to have a tail or no tail?
I don't think he has a tail.
George, the Mandela effect about his tail. I can't remember. I can't remember if Curious George has a tail or not now. I'm totally off subject.
That's a Mandela effect for sure, though. I've seen that before.
I want to say that he did not have a tail. That's what I want to say from what I remember. I remember him just being a regular chimp. But I could be wrong.
I'm actually typing it in because I can't remember.
That's funny.
Hey, Tyler, can you tell the people about your Air Force Base encounter that really rumbled the community at the beginning of the year?
Oh, yeah. So this last January, I was hiking a lot. I managed restaurants for about 6 years, so I couldn't put the time and effort in the woods hunting like I used to, so I picked up hiking. I hiked, I don't know, probably 15, 20 miles that day, and coming out of the woods, I pulled up on this power line. I was like, you know what, I got like 30 minutes to kill. I got to pick up my kid from the bus. I'll sit right here, you know, see if I can see anything come out, because we have bears here and all that. So I pull up on this power line. I'm not sitting there 10 minutes, and here's something just come walking out, jet black. I'm like, oh shit, what is that? And for me to say that, you know, I've seen people up close and personal and people from a long ways out there in these woods. I've been hunting out here since I was 6 years old. I'll be 30 on the 21st of this month. And I have never questioned that before. It was just black, You know, I couldn't see skin, I couldn't see your hat, couldn't see clothing. Well, before I started filming, it stopped a few times and started picking stuff up. Well, people don't do that. There's nothing to pick up out there. And it took the path of most resistance, which struck me as odd. There's a road that comes through there, but it didn't come out on the road. And I shared it, and Matt Moneymaker shared it on his Twitter and told me to make a YouTube channel, so I did. And that video blew up. I'm almost at 30,000 views on it. So it's and I've a lot of people have tried to pull like satellite imagery and all that to get a gauge of the distance and the speed it was walking. It was pretty interesting, man. A lot of people believe it's a juvenile. So I've talked to people who've worked out here on the range, you know, for years. And they've all said, you know, they've seen something, you know, that wasn't normal, or there's something out here that leaves tracks like yours and mine, but I don't know what it is. And so, yeah, I've been hearing whoops and wood knocks my entire life, and didn't even realize what they were till you know, high speed internet come about. And that wasn't until high school.
So, Tyler, let me ask you now, like, what do you want to get out of it now? Like, what are you hoping from now, going to the future of what your research? What are you hoping to find out now?
So this is my passion, man. Like, the fact that I put deer hunting down to pursue this more means something. If anyone knows me, they'll tell you, like, the fact that Tyler does not deer hunt to do this more, he knows there's something out there. And I want to get to where, you know, they always say you want to have your dream job. You know, you want to be your own boss, work for yourself, do your passion, do what you enjoy. And this is what I enjoy. And I hope, you know, to get to where I could do this for a living, you know, like I do documentary films and, you know, expeditions and stuff. And that's the point I want to get to. But for me personally, I just want to be like, there you are. I seen you. That's it. And I've been hearing things, seeing things, but it has not been a 100% visual confirmation for me yet. So until I get that, it's like, there you are, you know, then in my heart, you know, I would feel like that weight's gone. But the drive will never stop. Even when I do have that, you know, 100% encounter, I will still continue to for more. Because I think that if, like Connor, you know, was talking about when me and him were riding in the car, we firmly believe that these things can sense your energy and your vibes. And if you can establish that connection, that who knows, you could maybe, the possibilities are just mind blowing on what could happen, you know. Who knows? You could finally have to communicate and get language spoke, you know, or, you know, show you something. There's no telling. I mean, I'm Native American on my mother's side, and that's why I think some of the encounters I have come from that. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like there's two kind of research. There's the research for the truth.
Yep.
And once you find your truth, then there's the research of, you know, why it's here. Now I know it's here. How long has it been here? What's it like? Does it have families? Does it have this? I mean, there's so much even more. So it's like two different kind of research. One to find out what's the truth. And once you know there is a truth, what is it? What has been here? You know,
exactly.
There's so much it'll never end. And I'm glad. What about you, Florida, South Florida? I mean, what's your end game?
I don't have an end game. I don't want to see an end game. I don't want to stop. Like, first and foremost, I don't. What I would like to experience, I'd like to have like a true face-to-face encounter. So that way, like you know, similar to what Tyler said, I want a face-to-face encounter. But I don't have any doubt that they're there now. Like, I don't have any doubt that there is some sort of phenomena to this, that they're definitely there. Like when I'm talking about, I had one zap me in my head and was doing something, and like my whole body was debilitated, and I was struggling to hold on to my own consciousness. Now, why? Now, I want to know what that was about. I want to know if I can put a face to the thing that did that. And that's what it is for me right now. Because that was, like, I have to say, that and the experiences that we had with our with my phone, that was pretty crazy. And I had never had an encounter like that before.
Here's somebody actually in the chat actually put in a question. I want to see. I heard of this before, but I never even talked about it. Here's a question: does anyone know the reason why native gifted tobacco to Sasquatch? Did they know what Sasquatch done with it? I haven't really. I've never heard people giving gifts.
Me neither, but that's new for me.
You know,
I've heard of gifting, but I've never heard of gifting tobacco specifically.
Yeah, tobacco.
I of course, have. It has many medicinal purposes. Plus, they can put it in the fire and breathe it in. It is traditional gifting. I actually just was talking to my neighbor and telling him that every one of his guts that he breaks down from a cigarillo, just to give me that, because usually you just disperse of that tobacco. But I'm going to start gifting that. But I've gifted mushrooms, ganja, fruit, blankets, bones, a lot of everything. You have to establish different connections with the forest, 100%.
Yeah. But, I know people who've gifted crystals. They leave it in their backyard for the Bigfoots, and they said they get up and the crystals are gone.
We left some crystals in Myakka on film and everything. But I would like to hear more about Matt's encounter, because I was actually there when he got zapped, and I got it on camera. And it was right when we discovered some footprints. It was right when we were on the track of some things. And I've had some infrasound. I've sharded before from an encounter leaping in Pascagoula, Mississippi with one of these creatures. So I saw Matt go down, and I knew that something was in our grid.
All right, so we were back there where we were found. Like Tiffany had found some prints early in the morning. Had the whole camp scrambling to get out there. I was just having my breakfast and my coffee, and I just grabbed my still camera and I started booking it. So I'm out there and I'm taking pictures and I'm walking around, and like there were structures, prints, breaks, all in the same, and what looked like an old nest, all in the same freaking area. So at one point I'm down there and I'm sitting there trying to get a good shot of the most clear footprint of the entire day. There was footprints, like even the soil had dermal ridges to it. Like it was so crisp and clean, that print. But it wasn't deep enough for us to cast, which was such a shame. But so I had bent down and I'm trying to get a clear, crisp picture of it with my Nikon. And the next thing I know, it's kind of like, the only way that I can kind of describe it is almost like someone came and had cymbals in their hands and they just smacked them on both of my ears. And it was like a gong went off of my head. My vision went blurry. Like I felt nauseous. I almost fell down. And my mom, she seen what happened. She kind of like, Matt, you all right? And I was like, I need to sit down. She kind of directed me to a tree. And as I'm sitting there, not to sound like hokey or nothing like that, but I could feel like a tickle. It was like a tickle in my mind, and it was like kind of worming. And I was like, no, like in my mind, and it stopped. But I still had the body feeling and everything. It took me, I don't know, maybe about like 5-10 minutes to collect myself before I could stand again. Now, I don't have diabetes. I know I'm a little overweight, but I don't have diabetes. I have vertigo. I don't have vertigo. Never had any issues with vertigo. I mean, sometimes I have high blood pressure when I get mad, but that's about it. Like, I don't have any sort of medical thing that could have set that off by just bending down and standing up. And that was wild. And then after that, as I'm walking out there, like we're all walking out of that area. And I think I was actually next to Tyler, and my phone starts making a freaking noise, And I pull my phone out. It was like this little boop thing. And I'm like, what the heck? And I open it up, and I'm watching my phone scroll itself down through my music.
Yes, you showed me that.
And I said, no, I'm not doing this. I shut it out.
Man,
I locked my phone again, put it back in my pocket. We walked a little bit further, and now music's playing again in my pocket. I pulled my phone out, and there it is. It's playing a song. I paused the song, locked it, put it away. Walk a little bit further. Same thing again, except this time it chose the song that's titled Hello, Darling.
I was about to ask you, what song is it picking?
It chose Hello, Darling is the title of the song. And I was like, all right, I can't explain this any further. It's one thing if it happens once, but it happened 3 times right after I just had that incident. And I was like, yeah,
Aren't you glad? Aren't you kind of glad in a weird way it did happen to you?
Because 100%.
Because now you're like, oh my God, I just had an experience 3 different times. I want to research you more.
Oh, 100%, man. Like,
I'm sure during that part, you're like your heart's fucking beating. Like,
the only part I don't recommend was when they made contact with my mind. That was the only thing I don't recommend, especially for like a first time user, or you're just like curious about what's going on. You want to go out there, be prepared for that stuff. Because when I'm telling you, when you are normal and able bodied and everything is normal, and then the next thing you're not, and it's unexplainable, and you feel those feelings and you have that experience, it's very scary. That was the only frightening part. I wasn't even that scared of the freaking paranormal stuff. That freaked me out.
Now, some people do ask me, Eric, what do you recommend for us to do when you go on any research or do anything? And I always give an answer, and everybody's like looking at me like, that's not an answer. Yeah, it is an answer. Everybody asks, Eric, what would you recommend? I recommend if you're going to go out and do research on any community, paranormal, Bigfoot, you should learn CPR. You should learn CPR, and you should learn first aid. That is the first thing anybody should learn, because safety should always come first. Because anybody knows in the paranormal world, we all know that ghosts and stuff is built on energy.
I am CPR certified. I am first aid certified. I was a security operations manager for 2 years before I started my current job.
That's important, because
I'm all about security and safety.
You have to be, because
you have to.
You don't even have to listen. Most paranormal research is done at night. You don't know what you're going to step on. You don't know what you're going to hit. You're dark. You need to be able to protect yourself first. Like you said,
absolutely.
Stop your heart. It can actually get your heart going. So it's good to know first aid before you go on any research. So my recommendation, people, before you do on research, get CPR certified. Learn how to bring somebody back just in case something happens.
Learn how to take care of yourself.
Because, man, it sounds like you almost could have caused yourself to pass out on the ground.
Oh, I almost did. I almost did. And another thing that I want to mention too is make sure that you know your landscape, man, because especially for us down here in Florida, like I was just telling Tyler this morning before we hopped on the show, like the next place that we're going to be going is Ochopee, Florida, and where they're at up north, it is not the same terrain as it is down here. It is more wet. There is mangroves, there is sharks, there is stingrays, there is crocodiles in the area that you're searching for the skunk ape. Like, it is not something that you just go out there willing. There's pythons that can eat you, like huge, massive pythons. The entire wildlife is kill or be killed down here. And do not go out. That's my recommendation. Do not go anywhere without doing your research.
You're 100% correct. You listen to anybody who investigates the paranormal before they go to a certain place. They try to learn what happened there in the past. Did somebody die? What was the history? What's around the land? What's the weather? Kind of like when I was listening to you earlier, like when you're having that encounter, you're asking yourself, I don't have diabetes, I don't have this. You're debunking and kind of stuff, but that's all part of it. Learn your land, learn the area, learn what's out there. Because like you said, there's animals, there's certain kind of snakes. You don't know. You got to be prepared for anything, because most of these research are done at nighttime. You can't see these things.
When we were down in the Myakka, I was telling Connor and them, I was like, dude, the woods down here, it's like a jungle, man. I felt like I was down in like Puerto Rico or some shit because we don't have all the palm trees and the damn palmettos like you guys have, and just the vine. There's damn vines in there that cars can swing on. We don't have any of that up there. All we have up here is hardwoods and pine trees.
Yeah, and it's even more thick down south. The further south you go, it gets even thicker.
Yeah,
Yep.
Every area is different. Go to fucking
Every
Olympic
area is
Mountains
different.
here in Washington. It's crowded with trees and stuff. I mean, it's hard vision to see forward. You got to know your environment. That is so true.
Hey, Tyler, you also had the skunk ape enter your mind while you were in Myakka. Could you explain your dream and then what happened when you woke up from the dream? And then, Matt, please tell us what you recorded outside of our tents as well.
Yeah, man. So I was laid in my tent. I don't know. I fell asleep around. I don't know, it was like 3 o'clock that morning or something. We were out and about, doing the damn thing. And I had a dream, and I was somewhere. I don't know where. It wasn't there. I was camping, and I was sitting around a fire, and there's the firelight. You can see around you just a little bit. I seen a set of eyes glowing. Well, a skunk ape come out of the woods into the lot where I could see it, and was like waving its hand at me, telling me to come in. Well, then I shot straight up out of my dream and woke up because it seemed so real. And then there was something stirring in the woods when we started hearing wood knocks and stuff. And that's where he came into play.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to mention this real quick. My brother's in the chat, and I want everybody to know that I know a lot of people haven't seen Dr. Wu for a while because Dr. Wu is still in California. He's not back in the UK. And once he gets back to normal where he is going to be back on the show. He's on vacation. He's been going in the mountains, hunting, actually looking for Bigfoot himself up in the Yosemite National Mountains. So he is going to be back on the show. He's still on vacation. I don't even know when he goes back to the UK. That son of a bitch.
I saw on the recent news at the UK Daily Star that Queen Elizabeth herself is filing paperwork to try to keep him from crossing back into the border. So they're going to try to send him to America to stay. So I'm interested to see the saga of Robert Woods. So definitely tune in on his channel. His lives are so crazy. You don't know where he is in this realm or the next. And for a show to create that mysticism, and it's the true being, that's Dr. Wu himself. It's truly special. And I see Juan Torres. We all know, screw the globe. And then Lakea show, man, thanks for stopping by. Vault of Nightmares and Lakea, they got an awesome thing going. Looking for the Dog Man and great shows too. I saw Sean G was here, Chasing the Truth, bunch of legends. And BF Bud, I'm super excited to be part of your team at the next expedition at the Bigfoot Odyssey 168. Prayers up for Chris Reinhardt, though, guys. He was in and out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Actually, our team captain for Discover Sasquatch. He just got out of surgery, so just positive vibes for him. If he can't make it to the camp out, he will be there 1,000,000% in spirit. We will be looking for the RF, the radiation. He has detected that some of these structures in the woods have 3 times the radiation of a microwave. Like, that's crazy that there's electrical pockets out there in the swamp, in the flatlands, out in the desert. It's madness. But Matt was recording while we were all in the tent going to bed, and he recorded some just freaking craziness. And it was Matt's tent was right here to the right, and then me and Tristan, and then Stacy, and then right by the tree, right by Stacy, was Tyler. So all 4 of us were along a line that the skunk ape, I think, were sniffing out. And Nana Boss is in the chat. I honestly think they were very interested in Nana Boss, and sadly, that might be why Matt was interfered with a little bit, and that's why they were throwing acorns at his tent specifically. But we're going to let Matt, explain the sounds. But all the sounds are on his channel. But just hear it from the man himself first.
So what I did was I set up my audio recorder with the lavalier pointing out the backside of the tent. And it probably has a range anywhere of depending, I had the limiter on. So that's why I have several different audio recorders from that night. One was taken from like an Apple Watch, and the other one was the recorder. And that's why the Apple Watch picked up the acorns hitting the tent, but that was too light of a noise that the limiter didn't pick it up.
Interesting.
So to get it, like, all right. So if you the video that I posted, that is like just a small snippet of the most action. That actual clip was 2 hours long of audio that I had to go through. We were sleeping, so yes, there is some slight, breathing sounds and stuff. I had somebody make a comment on Facebook saying something like, "Oh, the sound I was trying to hear, I couldn't hear because of the snorkel like breathing." Well, people were sleeping. Shit happens. I set it up while we were sleeping in a tent. Like, you're gonna hear some breathing. Like, I'm sorry,
it's raw. It's real.
It's a raw, real video. Exactly. So in the beginning, you can hear that there's definitely hoot owls out there, and you can hear them going off from time to time. And then in the beginning of the clip, the first major noise that happens is a clear as day wood knock. Like, that's definitely a wood knock. There is no other thing.
You sent me that audio, and I listened to it with my big headphones, and you can clear as day hear it. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah. It was nice, and they were hitting home runs that night.
Yeah.
So after that, you hear a plane go over, and then you start hearing the hoot owl start acting up, and then. Now, I was talking to Tyler about this because I had actually sent both the audio files to both of these guys before I even uploaded it. Because I wanted to make sure that, like, I'm not just uploading something that I'm just making up in my mind because I got Squatch on the brain. Okay? So, so you're going to hear a hoot owl go off, and then what follows is... I can only describe it as kind of like monkey chatter, and like Tyler told me that it could be from the hoot owls going back and forth with each other, getting pissed and competing. But the if you listen closely, and eventually just PSA, I'm gonna redo these videos. I'm gonna lower the background noise. I'm gonna boost the audio even more. And I'm going to completely make it a lot different. I just got different technology that now I have the ability to do that. But it is not the tone. It is not the same tone as the hoot owl. So, like, it has a more almost guttural sound to it. And I've never heard something like that in my life. And then a little bit further into the video, you hear another knock. And then at the end of that clip, what you hear is something what to me personally sounds like bipedal steps through the tree line. So what I personally think happened was that they were done fucking with us and they went on to the next one. So I mean that's my opinion, because guess what, I've had these two guys that are on here right now and Stacy both tell me that night was going nuts. So it wasn't imagined. Like, there was something out there outside of
shit happening, guys.
That's awesome.
It was.
So let's see. So Dr. Wu, how do you feel about the young guns? You're on mute. Dr. Wu.
He might still be getting situated with his audio.
Yeah, sorry. I had to grab headphones because I remember last time I had feedback, and you said, make sure you have headphones, dude. I said, okay. So I've got them prepared. Hold on. Let me get started this breakfast. Oh, fuck yes. Okay, hold on. Let me come on. I can't get the cam on. Hold on. Well, you will not see my face then. Oh, anyway. No, everything's fantastic. I've been enjoying the show. You guys have a great group. I love hearing the stories. The cool thing is the stories. I love all the stories.
Yeah. And that's one thing, Bob, I want to encourage. I love when you see young people come out with these stories where sometimes it takes somebody older in life to finally say, it's time. You see it happening younger. It's just fantastic. I mean, it's needed because, listen, to keep the communities going, you got to get all ages involved. And no offense, but most age follows the same age group. To know that the age group is being represented by these people who just are talking about it, they're passionate about it. It's just not a story for them. They really care what they saw, what they hear, and they're still doing something about it. They're still researching it.
Yeah, the idea is to research it and have a place where you can comfortably talk about it because it's not normal. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you guys ever talk to Connor? I mean, it's not normal conversation. You're gonna be. But it's truthful. The dude's not lying. He's gonna tell you what he thinks is out there, and he's gonna give you an honest opinion of what it's gonna be out there. But you got to stop for a second and say, you know what? How do you know it's not true? I mean, I've seen a lot of insane cryptids. I've been all over the fucking world. I've seen things that are just wrong in every way. There's no scientific reason why these things should be there. But I had to, at some point, just throw it all out and say, okay, you know what? It's plausible. So I run on a plausibility chart. I said, this is highly plausible. This is likely plausible. This is not plausible. And then, so a lot of the stories I hear is plausible. It's got, there is more out there than people can think. Because we're talking about the forest here. All over the fucking globe. It's huge, man. We're talking, we just, civilization just kind of parked their trailers next to the ocean, and to their six is an entire forest. Are you going to tell me you know what's out there 100%? No, man. There are, I've seen the research. There are staircases in the middle of nowhere in the forest, and who built them? And they're built well, and they go up to where? To nowhere. They just stop. The archaeological discoveries right now they're off the chain. They're finding pyramids here. They're finding things in the desert that, when did this come about? There's constant rewrites of archaeology. So we're in it right now. This is a great time to be alive. And you guys are not crazy. You're seeing things that are coming into, I don't know, it's coming in through something, a veil. The veil is thin. How many of these weird astrological signs and weird things that we've had 1,000 years ago was the last time we've had the moon, you know, the eclipse of the blood moon. I'm like, really? So every year is a whole series of new astrological things that hadn't happened in hundreds of years. Of course, the veil is thin.
You're right. Everything's being rewritten.
Everything's being rewritten right now.
DNA gets better and better.
DNA is being constantly battled and changed. I've talked about the elongated skulls in Peru, and they've identified the DNA, and they've linked them to the Caucasus Mountains of Europe. So, okay, let's back this story up. They're in Peru. Okay, we're South America, and they're dated thousands of years old, these skeletons. But their DNA traces them to Europe, to the Caucasus Mountains. And some of them have a mixed DNA between local indigenous peoples of the South Americas. And the majority of their DNA comes from the Caucasus Mountains. These are the elongated skulls. And how did they get there? That means they must have had maritime, the maritime voyages must have went thousands of years ago. Thousands of years, and they're rewriting everything from now. They've got evidence of early of the Hebrew of the Israelites making it to the United States of America. They're finding more things that kind of hint for Israelites in the snake mounds that Connor talks about all the time. Now, how the hell? And it makes sense though that they would have snakes. Snakes is part of their it's part of their history. Snakes is part of the Torah. It's in a lot of religions. It's from way, way back. Of course, they're the ones who put the snake mounds down. You know, so we're starting to see that this planet is far older than or whatever you want to call it. The back of the turtle. I don't care about shape. I'm just telling you right now, it's weird, and we're getting more and more evidence of these things. And who's to say they didn't practice breeding techniques back then? Who's to say Bigfoot isn't a product of the giants?
Yeah.
You know, genetically.
And Bob, all we know that Tyler, Matt in the future, and Connor, they might be the ones that might find some evidence to prove some of the stuff.
They're going to find it because they're the only ones looking for it. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the only ones looking for it. Nobody else is going to ruin their college career and say, look what I found, because it's a dead stone. You're not going to get tenure at the university if you show a bone. You know, you could lose all credibility if you walk in with some kind of an artifact from something you suspect is much, much older. Like they found a hammerheads embedded in rock that is dated back to 2 million years, man. I'm like, holy shit. And nobody will acknowledge it. That's swept under the rug. It's complete. So you guys are the ones that'll be the ones finding it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And who
You're
knows?
the ones looking for it.
And once you find a Bigfoot, who knows how long Bigfoot goes back? Bigfoots can go back millions of years. We don't know.
Oh, absolutely. You know, he could be another species. I mean, you know how many species? I mean, if you're in evolution, some people aren't in evolution. It depends on what your camp is, but yeah, there how many species of Neanderthal were out there? The Denisovians was just a recent discovery, and they're all. You hear that word a lot being used, and they just discovered them within like last 5 years, 6 years.
There was another primate that was discovered on an island. I cannot remember what island it was called, but they were believed to be extinct, and it was like 3 years ago. You know, It's like, who's to say? You know, because like Gigantopithecus was a real living, breathing creature.
Gigantopithecus is a real breathing creature. Yeah, and they actually have the bones.
Direct descendant of orangutan. Well,
exactly.
All the DNA samples, the hair they find is orangutan. Like, you can't go buy that off the shelf at Walmart or order that shit on Amazon. Someone can't just put it out there. Something left it there.
Something, you know, you just don't die and leave your bones behind and say you didn't exist. They've existed. They existed. And they can also adapt. They can adapt to their environment. Now they're huge, but they could have shrank. Humans, the elongated skull guys. I mean, these guys they have mummies in China that are 7 foot tall, man. Yeah, and they obviously shrank. Here we are. You know, the Chinese aren't that tall. So, I mean, Australopithecus can shrink, you know, depending on what it's eating. You know, the smaller ones will survive. The larger ones will die off. Big brother will die off. The little wimpy brother, he lived because he's eating less. And they just got smaller and smaller from there. That's that basic. But you guys are going great. I love the show. I'm going to shut my mouth. You guys talk. I'm going to shut up.
Yeah.
No, you're good, brother.
Well, we got 10 minutes left where I go to work. So let's go like around the table and find out what you guys are gonna be doing, you know, next. If you have anything planned that's next. So Tyler, you got anything coming up that you're gonna be doing next that you want to let people know about your channel or anything?
So I mean, I'm gonna put some footage together from the Tatum house and make a video for that, but. Me and Stacy, we're going somewhere in Alabama, not too far from here, because I live 10 minutes from the Alabama state line. And we're going to some private property of some crazy, like, Bigfoot stuff. And we're going to probably do it on some kayaks and go check it out, because I got a thermal now, and that way we can have 2 thermals going and try and slip up in there. It's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know exactly when we're going to do it, but it's supposed to be sometime after the first of the year.
And then are you going to be like recording and then putting it on your channel?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everything that goes on, I'm definitely going to be filming all of it and going to have it on my channel.
Nice. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm going to try to get my hands on an audio recorder before then. That way I can get some stuff and send it to Matt and let him break it down and listen to it, because I don't know squat about listening to audio and breaking it down. He's the man for it. So whatever I get, I'm going to send it to him and let him listen to it.
So, sounds good to me, brother.
What about you, Matt? What do you got going? What you got coming up?
Well, actually, as far as like the channel goes, check us out next Wednesday. I'm actually starting to create my own podcast series. The pilot's going to be next week. I don't want to say nothing about it because I just want people to see what they think about it and to leave comments and stuff. But the first person I'm going to have on there is actually going to be Tyler. He's going to be my guinea pig. But it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I have an idea for an interesting way to take some of the stories that are floating around the internet and the community, and I want to kind of break it down a little bit differently than most shows do. So I got that coming up. We got the Ochapi trip that we're working on probably sometime in beginning of March. The holidays are a tough time for me. I got two of my kids' birthdays. One's the 5th, one's the 6th, and then we got Christmas and then New Year's, and it's a tough time for me.
Me too, bro.
We got the Bigfoot. We got the South Florida Bigfoot Convention or Great Florida Bigfoot Convention, whatever it is, in January, mid-January. I'm working on some stuff with Dave Shealy and Stacy. Like I said, I don't want to give too much information on that because nothing's set in stone yet. But we're working on setting up a full-blown expedition down there in Ochapi.
And poor Bob in California is going to be missing the Emerald City Comic-Con this weekend.
Yeah, shit. I want to go there. Yeah, I'm over here. I'm stuck over here. But I'm teaching people great things.
You know, our friend Jeff Hardy was on our channel last week. He actually got a new channel he created called Pine Island Research, and he's going to be doing his first show next week on his show to be talking about the research and you know what he does, and that's going to be an awesome. Anybody seen Jeff Hardy last week? The man's like Bob and everybody. There's no bullshit. He just tells you straight up. What do you think?
Yeah.
I respect that.
He's a good dude.
So Connor, what do you got coming up? You probably got 10,000 things coming up.
Yeah, I got a bunch of things coming up. But first, before we get into that, I just want to shout out some other young guns in the community because it seems like it's desolate, but it's not. There is a whole generation of people interested in this. TikTok is exploding every single day in the paranormal realm. There is new podcasts and channels every single day. So these old timers that are in it, step your game up or you're going to be flushed out real quick. You're going to get that. Yeah. But Casey Connors from Oregon, he's moving to Tennessee. Awesome dude. Tyler Kennedy, he runs the Science Bigfoot and the Science Citizen podcast. Tristan Smith from Hidden Relief, he camped with all of us. He's awesome. Emily Fleur from the Fleur Project, she's awesome. She's in Long Island. She's done a ton of awesome research. Alan, the Bigfoot, he's been on your guys' show before. Young Alan. Sometimes he cares a little bit more about his hair than the actual research, but maybe he will find some hair on a barbed wire fence one day. Love you, Alan. Come on, bro. Get a haircut. You know,
like
or throw it out and don't care about it.
An antique gun, Connor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Danny has a young spirit. So I love Danny, man. And he is not scared to pull punches. But again, if people find themselves on the other side of the fence than me, then do your research. That's all I can say because I've done mine. Miguel from Sasquatch Theory. He's a young gun from Missouri. I always say he's from Texas, but he's just got that Midwest side, man. Mobo, the monster. Blue Line Bigfoot. Andreas from Last Days Now. Forest of Monsters. He's been on the show before. Real cool dude. Jack McClellan. He's the filmmaker that had made The Void Cat and made a documentary called The Bridges, a Flat Creek Disturbance.
Nice.
Gemma Jade. She's a young oracle. Andy the Bigfooter. Nightmare 365. Carrick St. Laurent. That's another dude that just knows so much. He's all about the Pukwudgie and Bigfoot. Aiden Mathis. He's huge on TikTok. The Lore Lodge he runs. Nash Hoover, Yami, Andy Matsky, Alex Pedikov from Out of the Shadows, John Easley from Western Bigfoot, Tate Hieronymus, he also is all about the Bluff Creek, Connor Anderson, he's Cliff Brackman's right-hand man, Eli Watson, cool dude that jams with the guitar in the woods, and then Jeremiah, who runs Bigfoot Society. So the community is in good hands, but I am definitely pride myself on running and gunning because I'm going to be part of the Bigfoot Odyssey 168. I have an interview with Vic Cundiff in 20 minutes, and that will be to 10,000s of people, which is very cool to have a platform of open-mindedness that you could just run and gun with information. It's just awesome to be there. And then I got big plans with Stacy Brown, Tyler. We're going to be seeing Matt at the January conference, and I'm going to be speaking at the conference in June in Port Charlotte, the Southwest Florida. And that's just going to be so dope. I'm going to have a table at Infinity Con. I always got stuff going on. I'm going to Torreya this weekend. I'm going on a hike to Ecafana Creek right after I get off with Vic Cundiff. So just keeping things rolling. And last night was at a haunted house and had some cool readings on the ghost box. So, life is paranormal. We're all supernatural. I love conversations like this just to push things forward. So I'm really rooting for everybody. And we just got to keep bringing the community closer because that's the way we're going to get closer to the truth. And it's all inside of us, guys. It's the eternal light. They cannot calculate the soul. Do not sign your soul over. Do your research. And like Nana Boss said, buy my books. I actually just signed a contract with Beyond the Fray Publishing yesterday. Steve Stockton, Penny the cryptozoologist. They're republishing all 4 of my books and then putting out 2 more of my books. And I always will remember Iron Dogger, being like, you self-published your books, I love Iron Dogger, but she was stuck in a tunnel right there because a lot of people, good people, self-publish their stuff, and it's incredible. But if you're lucky enough to have an open-minded publisher that's really behind you on your supernatural thought and psychedelic experiences, then, you got to run forward with it. So, guys, share your information. Follow me on TikTok. I just reached 25,000 followers, man. That's incredible. That's a lot of people. Look up how many people that is, and that's how strong my army is. So when I'm going on my Screw the Globe and the Firmament, and even when Bob said glow, I was like, come on, bro, you know better. And then when he said planet, that was perfect. Juan Perez, Chocolate and Cheese, Aaron Rocca. We all know the truth in the chat. Guys, planet, plane, terrain. Look up the research on the moon landing. We never went to the moon. Oh, my gosh. What, did we destroy the technology and we can't go back? We filmed over the tapes because we ran out of VHSs in the 70s. You have to really close your ears and eyes to go along with the establishment. And, guys, feel with the family. Feel with the community. Listen to the Bigfoot world, the paranormal world, and even the flat earth community. Because guess what? We're closer to the truth than pretty much anybody else. Screw NASA and fight for the soul. Give up on Nazis. Nazis have nothing for us. We owe nothing to them. I know we are Anne Frank, guys, in this battle. Do not call the Gypsy Popo on us. We need to be on. Gypsy Road and Dr. Wu do a great job of opening platforms and open-mindedness, and it's just so important to push this game forward. I love your breaking news, Eric. It's an incredible little show you got going. Start sharing my videos a little bit more, homie. That's all I can say.
Well, let me say real quick, then I gotta end the show because I gotta get to work. I do have a breaking news coming up this Friday, and Connor did say something great because I actually had another comment. You should start showing more of my stuff. The only reason I show things from all different people, just so people don't think I'm favoring certain channels. I want to show people that I'm open-minded to all channels, and Bigfoot has a lot of great stuff, and I'm so encouraged with the young guns coming up. We need this stuff to continue, and knowing these people have passion. Guys, you should support them. Do whatever you can. Get them on your shows. Don't just try to get the big dogs, the big channels, the big huge things, because the young people are our future. They're going to continue it. Yeah. Even people you should also get on your channel. Talk to them. Don't worry about all big dogs. Get everybody on your channel because everybody has a story. Everybody has an experience, and we can learn a lot from every single one of these people. So I want to thank Tyler. I want to thank Matt, Connor, Dr. Wu for jumping on. I actually got to get going to work. I know work sucks.
And just real quick, hey, Danny said science meets science. Guys, Science is water doesn't bend. And if you can see buildings that are shorter than what the curvature should be, that's science, guys. So don't pull the science card on me if you believe in cartoons. So do your research. And if you believe in heaven, then do your research again. Just Google the earth the Bible describes, guys. It's not hard. I don't want to seem like I'm jamming it down people's throat, but guys, we have to wake up from this illusion. And it is sooner than later, or it's going to be really dark times. And it really starts with the truth. And we're not moving. The constellation's always been the same. Polaris always peeks through. Go to the Georgia Guidestones. You can see Polaris through the hole. That wouldn't be true if we're going through space. That's evil, guys. Screw Baal. Screw the goat man. We represent the creator, Bigfoot.
The goat man.
I do got to go. I'll see everybody next time. Talk to you guys later.
Have a good one, guys.
How about a nice game of chess?